Okay, are you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, others will probably be joining us. Okay, everybody there, we're welcome to MELS 601 for the fall semester of the add-on licensure program. We are, Dr. Lamb and I are working with sections C2, C6, C10, and C12. If you are not in those sections, then you need to let us know because those are the sections that he and I will be working with this semester. Again, we welcome you to the program. Dr. Lamb, if you would pull up just let's let them see what our class schedule for this evening looks like. If you would
Just 1 second here. Let me do this.
Again, for those of you, while Dr. Lamb's doing that, for those of you that were locked out of the town hall Zoom session last evening, we apologize. That was not something we expected. However, that the recorded session has been placed in Blackboard for all of you, and we hope that that won't happen again to us. So it's not something we had planned on happening. So if before we get started too, I'm going to ask you if you would to it's very, very important that you listen carefully because we will have a lot to say. If you have questions, we will allow time for that, but there's a lot of you, so let's hold off on the questions because you may get your question answered before the session's over with anyway. So we'll break every now and then, and this way we won't have to stop and pause for questions that we may be giving you your answers to at some point. Dr. Lamb, if you would go to the weekly schedule, the weekly class schedule. And just click on week 1. Okay, if you would say, last night has already been taken care of. That was the town hall. This week is pretty intensive with your Zoom sessions. You have your first weekly Zoom session, which is tonight, and then we will have another scheduled Zoom session on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And the purpose of this, Dr. Lamb will take the main lead on that session, and a lot of it will have to do with things that you'll have to understand throughout the entire program. So those are some that's what Thursday night will be. And while we do have things specifically listed at this stage over the next 3 weeks, we will kind of be all over the place with lots of stuff. So I would encourage you to listen carefully, take notes. You will probably hear some of the things over and over again, but that's okay. You're going to need to hear it over and over again, and that way it will help you better understand things. So even next week, you probably will hear some of the same things that we talk about today, but for the first few weeks, that's going to be very, very important. This evening, our main responsibility is going to be, again, beginning working with course and program introduction and requirements. We are going to delve into evidence 1, which is your APSL, and get you started on that this evening. And then, Dr. Lamb, I guess anything else that we think about and comes up, we're gonna tackle it too. So just put your roller skates on and let's start rolling. Dr. Lamb, I'd like to first of all begin by, if you would, some of them may not know who you are. If you would introduce yourself and then let them know how you and I will be working together this semester.
Again, welcome. I'm Dale Lamb with Gardner Webb. I'm the chair of the males department. Welcome aboard. We have 151 new students this fall. There's about 350 15 or so in our department. We're the largest program on campus, and we're the most successful, we believe, and we're the most rigorous. And we appreciate you being with us, as I said last night. The way Dr. Stedman and I work together, I'll coach his classes and he'll coach mine, and we'll come online and we'll switch back and forth on Tuesday. He'll take the lead and I'll take the lead. He mostly takes the lead on Tuesday and I mostly take the lead on Thursday. We're going to have to mute that. All right. All right, I've got everybody muted now. Okay. People are having trouble with their audio, but hopefully that'll go away. So we're going to meet on Tuesdays every week except for the 1 week that Dr. Stedman has moved it to a Monday. But then we'll do some Thursdays to begin with, and I'll give you a week or so off, and then we'll try to maybe rotate back and forth. Just look at your weekly schedule. You'll see that. And you can access your weekly schedule, the whole thing at one time, by simply clicking on the class weekly schedule, or you can see what's due in any particular week by coming over to your menu and clicking on that week. So everything you see in these 16 weeks is contained in this one document here, as I showed you last night. And there it'll be. So if you want to know, as you can see, this week we're having Zooms tonight and Thursday night. Next week we'll have 2, following week 2, the first 4 weeks, and then you get a week off. And then you have a Monday, you get a second week off, and then week 7 we'll be back to 2. And we kind of pace these according to your evidence artifact work. So if you want to know how many Zooms you have and when they are, simply look at your weekly schedule. All right. Okay. All right. They're still working on their audio. All right. Anybody have any questions at this point on weekly schedule? Let me see if I catch any of those.
My only question,
class. Well, the meetings are from 7 to 8. That's correct. They last 1 hour, and we record them. Your attendance is optional. You can watch them later. But I will tell you this, as Dr. Stedman will tell you, if he hadn't already, the folks that come online with us every week for at least the first 4 weeks are a lot more successful than those who don't, that watch it later. Getting it real time, I don't know why, seems to help folks. How soon will we have the recordings posted? No more than an hour after the session. A 1 hour recording on Zoom takes 30 minutes to process and takes 30 minutes to upload to YouTube. So it takes 1 hour. After 1 hour, we will send you an email with the link, and it'll also be posted in your class shell under the week 1 tab. Let me show you that. These are good questions. So tonight, later on tonight at about 9 o'clock, when you click on the week 1 tab, you're going to see these things. You're also going to see a link to tonight's recording, and you'll get an email. Again, about an hour after class, you'll get an email with the link in it. That's as fast as we can get it out, but we want it out tonight. Are all assignments listed on the weekly schedule? Do we have to do something in discussion board there? Then we don't. Discussion board is where you put your evidence artifact work. So that's where you upload things to discussion board for peer review. Now, again, you can access discussion board one of 2 ways. If you're doing AppSell assignments for review, you click on AppSell assignments for review. You can go that way into discussion board. I created you a shortcut link, or you can just use discussion board link. They'll both take you to the same place. When we're referring to discussion board, that means you got to go there and put something in, or go there and retrieve something out. What you put in is your rough drafts for peer review. What you take out are your teammates' rough drafts for you to review them. Every task, except for the last one in the AppSell and the AppTel, must be peer reviewed. You must do 2 of your colleagues. Let me say that again. AppSell tasks 1, 2, 3, and 4, and AppTel tasks 1, 2, and 3. You have to do 2 peer reviews on your colleagues, and you'll get 2 done on your work. This will help you in the writing development process. You'll also get feedback from your instructor. You'll also get feedback from your coach once you take work to the intern shell. Now, you say, but Dale, we don't have an intern shell. That's true, but you will. The reason you don't have it yet is I want to make sure that you work in this shell this week and get familiar with it before we open up another shell for you. Now, there is no shame in being referred to your clinical coaches shell. It's not like being on the short bus or the slow class. Everybody needs all the help that they can get. I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful to anybody, but everybody needs as much help as they can get in the beginning. And so there is no stigma about being referred to your coach's shell. We all go to the coach's shell and work. So you do peer review in your class shell. Instructor gives you review. The coach gives you more guided feedback in your coach's shell. So we'll have you posting work in both initially, but we'll introduce that shell to you later on. We'll probably introduce it next Tuesday. We want everybody to get familiar with this shell first. And it looks just like this one. It's just got places for you to put your work. So when you see a discussion board reference, what that is to place to upload your work. To clarify, are we posting the parts? No, they're not parts. They're tasks of the evidence pieces as we're completing. Yes, that's the discussions for. Yes, that's what discussion board is for. Make sure you refer to them as tasks, and the tasks contain prompts. Are the people we review assigned, or do we pick? You just have to pick the people in your team, in your group. Dr. Stedman has assigned groups. Is that correct? You're muted, Dr. Stedman.
And we're going to go to the left, and we're going to show them those things whenever you get to that point.
All right. So what we're going to do, here are your Zoom teams. This happens to be the one for, this is my C10 section right here. Now, these will be your people. Now, I have intentionally not put a place in for you to contact these folks until we told you what you were doing. What I am going to do tonight, though, after we told you how this works, I'm going to put a place here where the Zoom teams are. I'm going to put a place here for you to upload your information. And so what I will do, I'm going to do a discussion board link right here. And I am going to create a new form for you. And I'll do this. We'll do this in all the shells. It's going to say upload your contact for your team members.
Okay, if you don't see your name on a Zoom team, simply send me an email and I will take care of that. So anybody whose name is not on a Zoom team, send the email to me and let me know which group you're in, the C2, C6, C10, or C12, and I'll take care of that tonight.
All right. You'll now have a box, and it will link to discussion board. So when you click here, you simply then click on Create Thread. And put contact information and put your contact information and submit. So now,
Dr. Lamb, can we mute everybody?
You'll be able to, when you click on this, you'll be able to see my information. You can come here under Zoom Teams, or you can go again. I linked it to discussion board. So if you don't remember, you can find it in one place or the other. And that's what you'll do to put your information in. Now I'll put boxes in all the shelves tonight. Won't be a problem. But I've held off from doing that until we showed you how to use it. So all you simply have to do is hit Create Thread, click on, again, Zoom Teams, upload your information here, and then Create Thread. And you can add your information. And that's how you get your team members' information. It's really simple. All right, let me answer a couple questions here. Okay. Yeah, we're all muted.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right, and so that's where you will find your, now, you'll have to give me a few minutes. Task Stream, we're not to Task Stream. Don't worry about Task Stream yet. Let's master Blackboard first.
Joey, I'll talk to you about that tomorrow when I go see you.
Yeah. We have not, you will get an email from Task Stream with your access code. Otherwise, you'll have to pay $150. Now, if you're just busting at the seams to get started in Task Stream and you've got an extra $150, you can create your own account. Otherwise, when we send you the code, it'll be free. So just wait on your code. It'll be, again, I've asked that everybody meet in their class and with their clinicals this week to get familiar with Blackboard. We'll then drop in your clinical coaching shell, and then next week we'll drop Task Stream in. You don't need Task Stream for a while yet, so let's we have a process here that we follow and get everybody up to speed on all the things that we need to be up to speed on. So Zoom Teams for the C10 section, there's your teams. So like this one, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got what, 5 members on that team? You don't have to do everybody, just 2 of your team members. Rotate around, make sure that everybody gets peer reviewed. And you folks can do Zoom sessions as well. Zoom is free if you don't go past 40 minutes and you don't go past about 10 people. Zoom is free. You're going to be doing some Zoom peer reviews and Zoom case studies later on. It wouldn't be a bad idea to get started Zooming between your team members already. There's no rule against collaboration. We like that. Okay. If we have a Task Stream account, no, you will not use that account. Our task along with the evidence and the discussion thread for now, that is correct. You will put your task in the Create Threads in discussion board for peer review. We're nowhere near ready to evaluate those. List of exactly what's due Sunday. Look under week 1.
There are no written assignments due Sunday, but there's things that they need to be doing.
Mm-hmm. We don't have any dues on that. We don't have anything due the first week. We never have a due date of any things the first week. It'll be the second week before things are due. We're still enrolling people. That's what Dr. Stebbin was asking me earlier. Do I think that we're through with enrollment? No, I think we'll enroll through Friday.
But we're going to be
not until next Monday.
But we're going to be telling you all the things you need to be working on this week, in spite of the fact that you don't have to turn anything in to me on or us on Sunday night.
Get started on forming your PLC and get on task 1. You won't have 2 weeks to do every task. So you need to, this first one, we're going to give you a couple of weeks. We're going to give you an extra week to do it, but it won't be that way every week. You've got to do 9 tasks this semester, 5 for the AppSell and 4 for the AppTel. So we're going to get on it pretty fast here. We need a rough draft in 2 weeks, Dr. Stebbin?
Yes, they'll put it in discussion board next week for their peers and for us to look at it. So.
All right. We have a question here. We already have a PLC and have meetings once a month. What can we do? You form a new one. You don't disband your old one, but you're forming a new PLC. And under your direction, doing the things that we've asked you to do. Your old PLC already has norms and values, has members and roles. We're going to ask you to create one from scratch using the DeFore model. And we have specific things that PLC does. They don't do the things that your normal one does. We're going to have you do some data analysis, look for gaps in your standardized test scores, do some research as to what you can do to fix those problems, develop an action plan. So your existing PLC is not set up and designed for the things that we're asking you to do. You're going to need to form a new PLC.
Dr. Lamb, if you would go back to
every week are due on Sunday.
Yeah, Dr. Lamb, go back to the weekly class schedule, and I think that's going to clarify some things. I'm just going to point out some things if you'll go back to that. Okay, and if you would listen and don't ask any questions right now, just listen when he pulls it up. Okay, go to, okay, because you're thinking, and that way, if you're thinking about this, you're not going to listen to the other stuff. So let's look at week 1. Okay, now week 1 is mainly a get started week, and we're going to talk about the AppSell after we get through with the other things, and that's where you really focus a lot of your time getting those things started. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want you to look at the assignment column. Let's go on, and you'll see at the bottom of each assignment column, it'll say assignments due to Blackboard no later than 9 o'clock. It's going to be there no matter what, even though the first week there it's just there. Go on to week 2, Dr. Lamb.
The assignment this week is putting your information
right
in discussion board. That's due by Sunday night. There's no other assignment other than we give you this assignment orally this week to see if you can follow direction. Your assignment this week is to put your personal information in discussion board. That's got to be done by Sunday night. That's your only assignment this week. That's why we have that there.
Okay, go to week 2, and we're going to talk about this. You see the first bullet. It says AppSell Task 1 Draft due in Blackboard's discussion board. It's important that you read carefully what it says. It's a draft, and it's due in discussion board. You will place that in discussion board once you have done the draft. Come on down, Dr. Lamb. I want to show them week 3. I want to point out something. Okay, look at the first bullet. AppSell Task 2 Revisions due to instructor. Now notice, submit to the AppSell assignment drop box. All of that is going to be on the left. It specifically tells you where to put it. Week 2, it says to put it in the discussion board. Week 3, once you've cleaned it up, you fixed it, recommended, you're going to put it into the assignment drop box for me or for Dr. Lamb. Then I look under that. The APSL Task 1 peer reviews, and we're going to talk about those between tonight and Thursday night. We're going to talk about the peer reviews and go through that with you. Again, there's a specific place for that. It's in the assignment drop box, and when you go there, it's going to have Task 1 peer review, number 1, Task 1 peer review for the second one that you have to put in there. Then it's going to have Task 2 peer review twice, Task 3 peer review twice, Task 4 peer review twice, and then it's also going to have a place for you to put the videos, the Zoom videos that we're going to talk about as well. But there's specific places for these assignments, so it's important that you look where it tells you to put these things. Those questions were coming up, Dr. Lamb, and I felt like that they needed to know that there are specific places that they're going to put specific things. Did that answer your questions? Some of them were.
All right.
Okay.
Back to PLCs.
Okay.
Again, I want you to form a new PLC. I do not want you to be involved in an existing PLC, because you will have to hijack them to do something different than their purpose or their objective. We have specific things that we have you do in your PLC. You find 3 of your colleagues that are willing to work. I mean, this is real life things. This is not just play school stuff. We're going to have you actually disaggregate your data. We're going to have you find new and better ways to address the gaps in your standardized test scores at your school. You're actually going to implement your action plan and try to get results and try to make the lives better for children. We have found that it just doesn't work to try to do this in an existing structure, because folks don't like having to do your work for you. You need to find 2 or 3 people on your campus that you know that you can go to that are interested in trying to improve the school, your school, and the lives of kids. That's what you need to do. You'll be much happier if you do that. If you find you 2 or 3 good people who will work with you. You will not be successful if you try to commandeer an existing PLC. That just won't work. We have specific things that we have you do in that PLC.
Okay, Dr. Lamb, let's go back to Blackboard and come on down. Look at let's click on the weekly test period case study. APSL task and prompts. Let's go ahead and hit it, because this is what we're talking about. Okay, as Dr. Lamb explained last evening, over the course of these 3 semesters, you will be your responsibility will be to complete 6 evidences. And because you are in the add-on licensure program, this semester you will be required to complete 2 of those evidences, which will be the APSL, which is the action analysis and action plan for student learning, and then you will do the APTEL, which is dealing with teacher empowerment and leadership. We're going to talk about the APSL this evening, because that's the one that you've got to hit the road running with. As you see, there are 5 tasks involved in the APSL. Now, you need to read and understand all 5 tasks from the very beginning in order to be able to fully understand even how to do task 1. You need to read and understand all of it from the very beginning. Dr. Lamb has already spoken to you about forming your professional learning communities. All of you are involved in those at your schools already. The professional learning community again, you're being charged with the responsibility of taking on a major leadership role, and that is what we're going to be looking at as you are completing these tasks and putting the evidences together. We're going to consistently look at your role as a leader in every one of these. That's the whole purpose of this program, is for you to become an effective leader. So your role is to become the leader of your professional learning community. Again, it's not something that I met with two interns today, and the principals and I talked, and I said, this is an opportunity for you to have the resource to do something that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do. Your school improvement team and your administration has already decided basically what the major need is in your school this year, and that is what their focus is going to be. This is an opportunity to be an extension of that and to do something over and beyond what the school will already be doing. So, there's all kinds of subgroups, and, when test scores come out, it's obvious what the main subgroup is that needs help. Well, sometimes there's a subgroup that needs help, but you have to put it on the back burner because, you can take that subgroup off the back burner, and you can possibly work with that subgroup to help make a difference this year. So that's what you're being tasked with. Dr. Lamb, if you would talk to them about as they are developing their PLC and looking at identifying the problem that they're going to work on in their PLC, that it's not, we're not dealing with discipline, we're not dealing with attendance. Please talk with them about what our expectations are there.
Every public school in North and South Carolina, and even some charter schools and privates, are charged with closing the gap between subgroups in their school on standardized test scores. Now, I'm not going to get into a debate about, well, if kids behave better, they'll learn more. No, that's not true. It's not. If you want kids to learn more, you have to teach them more. The APSEL is about a learning program. It's about finding an instructional modality. It's about changing maybe instructional habits, using best practices from Marzano. It may be about some new reading program or a learning program. PBIS will not work here. Attendance programs, rewards programs, disciplinary programs. This is not the place. This is for instruction. We're trying to change and improve instruction here. That's what your PELC is driven about. So your most pressing need, if it's discipline, drop out of the program now. If you can't follow this direction, as clear and as simple as this one is, you won't be successful. I'm telling you now, we will not accept anything that's got discipline or attendance. Your most pressing need must be academic. Now, we have 6 evidence artifacts. We're going later on in the sequence, you're going to have the opportunity to do discipline and attendance and some of those other programs, but not this one. We'll start out with instruction. When I go to Raleigh and then I turn and go around the curve there on the loop and head toward Goldsboro, I pass a little town Garner there and exit 303. And the name of the road is Jones Sausage Road. You know what they do at Jones Sausage? They make sausage. You know what we do in school? We teach kids. That is what we do. That is who we are. That's how we start this program, is understanding as a school administrator, school is about instruction, period. And so we're going to work on closing the gap in standardized test scores. Now, if you're one of those people that believe, well, test scores is not representative of what kids know, this is the wrong business for you. If the scores didn't matter, we wouldn't keep score. Your job is to get student performance. That's why this one is first, and that's why we protect this one to the nth degree and get you to understand that schools are for instruction. That's what they do. That's just like Jones Sausage makes sausage. We teach kids. So the APSEL is about student learning. It's not about discipline. It's not about attendance. It's not about rewards programs. This is about improving instruction. We'll get to those things in later evidence artifacts. We'll address some of that in the OMA. We'll address that specifically in the CAP. There is a section on managing student conduct in that. We'll get to those things down the road, but they are not primary. This is primary. We must understand that. So here are the overview of the 5 tasks of the APSEL. Research the tenets and functions of a professional learning community. Richard DeFore is your man there. Assume a leadership role in developing a PLC to research, analyze data, and present a suggested course of action to the administrative team. Lead the PLC in collaborative research and analysis of available data to identify a significant learning need that emphasizes individual learning if possible. Lead the PLC in collaborative research in the area of identified needs to develop basic strategies to develop sustainable growth. Lead the PLC in the collaborative development of an action plan culminating in presentation to the school or the unit administration. Elaborate on the APSEL experience through reflection of their competencies, basically is what that one is. So as you can see, this is only about instruction, folks. It's about looking at your test scores, determining what your gap is, your